Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the Blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the Blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Michael, how is NFTLA over there?
It's been pretty crazy. I was running around all day today, doing all kinds of stuff. You know, it's fun. It's been these conferences are always so much fun. They really are, meeting all the different people. I was hanging out with Crypto Novo today. Do you know him?
Oh yeah. The punk with like the
he is really he's really going for it. What's the word? He's a
character.
Yeah, I'm missing the word, but he's really into it. You know, he's going for it. He's in deep. He's awesome. He's really cool. Everyone loves him, and he runs around. He's got his mask on and his beanie hat. It's pretty funny.
He's like clown nose and everything.
Yeah, his clown nose. Yeah. Crypto Novo's really cool. He's all in. He's all into his punk.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear about your whole experience on Sunday's recap episode. We definitely talk about that,
absolutely,
as well as Miami. But today we have a very special guest with us. We are here with SarahScript, who I've actually known for maybe almost a year now. Just you get to know people in the NFT space online. My sister has hosted some ladies' night Twitch streams that Sarah's been on. We've shared some Twitter space stages together, and I've seen a lot of your work. I think the first thing I saw of you, Sarah, was you doing your amazing calligraphy. Oh my God, Sarah's like the best calligraphy artist ever. I'm just so fascinated by those videos. But anyway, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I've been a big fan of the show since it started, I think last spring or summer, and been listening to it. So this is kind of wild to be on it. I'm a big fan of you guys, and how it feels like you're listening to friends in the space who are kind of on the ground floor of everything happening. So I'm really excited to be here.
That's so nice.
Thank you. Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Yeah. And you're an amazing artist in the NFT space. Super excited to dive into that. Curious to hear your story on how you got into the NFT space. Maybe if you can even share a little bit on, what you were doing before. Since you are such a great artist, I'm you have to have been doing some pretty incredible stuff before. So I'm curious to hear about that, as well as, what was your first NFT that you ever bought? Yeah,
sure. So before NFTs, I was teaching calligraphy online because the COVID and everything had made my job at this at this stationery store as a graphic designer. My hours kept getting cut because there were no events happening. So I started teaching online and eventually transitioned to teaching calligraphy full time, and also doing weddings and on-site events as they came about. So I was already kind of used to selling a digital product online. And then when I was introduced to NFTs, I think my brain broke open and it was like a rainbow coming out of my head. And it was the most magical thing ever. So this was in February of 2021. It was snowing in Arkansas and there was nowhere to go. So I hopped on Clubhouse. And I think I don't think I'll ever forget the night where all of the possibilities of NFTs and what the technology meant. I stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning in a Clubhouse room listening to people talk about it. And I was just oh my gosh, this changes everything. And then I think Michael was in those Clubhouse rooms too. And Jenny, you too, just listening to people talk about this. And I think I actually minted and sold an NFT before I bought one, but it was around the same time. So I used mintable.app, which people don't really use anymore, or a lot of people don't. But at the time, it was one of the only ways you could do it for $0. And so I uploaded a digital mosaic that I had created. And in the middle of the night, it sold to a person who had been in the Clubhouse room with me earlier that day, learning how to do NFTs. And I think then that next week I bought a music NFT from the person who taught me how to do it. So that was my first NFT that I ever bought, was actually this music NFT. And now everybody's tweeting about music NFTs.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's so cool that you started in Clubhouse. I mean, I was never.
Jennifer was never on Clubhouse.
Oh, she wasn't.
But no, it's good. But Michael was like very into the Clubhouse.
Love Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was free education, right? Like 24/7 about NFTs.
Yeah, those Aaron Haber rooms were great. I know you were in those a lot. We're in a lot of those together. Those are always really good. I love Clubhouse. I still go on there. I still have like a little niche group of friends that still hangs out over there.
Yeah, I wonder if Web3 would have happened like it did without it, or NFTs. I mean,
right? No, it was huge. I mean, even people like Farouk, and we talked to John Knopf, and he was on there. Like that's what Twitter Space is now, is what Clubhouse was for sure for a long time.
Totally.
Yep.
Totally.
And now you're hosting a lot of space, or you're in a lot of spaces, you're hosting spaces. How do you feel about like putting yourself out there and like, just going for it and being in spaces and like minting your art? I mean, I'm always curious because, for me, like I get very nervous to do things, but then I'll do things anyway. And it's just like, it's just like that thing before you start doing things, or you're just like, I don't know if I should do this. And like, what if nobody cares? And then, did you ever like kind of get nervous to start like minting your art and like selling it? Like, where you're like, what if nobody buys it? Like,
I think sharing my art has never been scary to me for some reason, but speaking is always so scary. So like, I'm very hesitant to get up on stages and raise my hand. I think I've hosted like 1 or 2 rooms, and they've been for my friends. And they're usually like 10 people. But yeah, like sharing my art, I'm not hesitant about. I think probably because I was on Instagram, sharing my calligraphy for a long time, and just kind of getting used to the majority of the world is good and positive, and there are going to be people who don't like your stuff, but that's, everybody, that's the world we live in. So yeah, sharing my visual art doesn't scare me as much as speaking. Yeah.
That's awesome. How do you know like what to price your art at? Like, especially when you're starting out, like how did you determine what you wanted to price your pieces at?
At first I was like taking into account the time that it took and what I wanted to kind of be paid for. So that's what I was doing for my digital mosaics, because I was kind of on Bitsky.com for a while. I don't know that a lot of folks use Bitsky right now, but they might in the future. But I was on there because they accepted credit card payments, and I was a little bit scared of the blockchain technology for a while. Now I'm drunk the Kool-Aid. I'm the deep end. I'm with it. But yeah, at the time I was just kind of like, okay, I spent 11 hours on this. Divide this number, times this number by $20 an hour. Let's And that was kind of how I priced my work. But then with my calligraphy videos, I have a calligraphy video collection on OpenSea called Calligraphy Love. And I priced that kind of based on my experience and like what it took to get to that point where you can film a video and like stick the landing, I guess, with the word that you're writing and stuff. And that took a long time to like learn how to film and also like learn how to do that style of calligraphy. And so I priced those pretty high. I priced them at 0.3, but I felt like that's what it was worth. And I found a collector who felt like those were worth it. And eventually the collection sold out at around 0.3 and 0.35. There are 26 pieces in it. So yeah. And then I started minting one-on-ones on Foundation, and those are all auctions. So that's like, I don't really even know. That's kind of price discovery based on what the collector wants to pay, I guess.
Yeah. And we know like I think your number one collector is like Franklin, who's like the one that's always showing, Franklin, he's like pushing 41 apes. Like he's always like talking about how many apes he has, and he's pretty big holder, like top 5, I guess. And yeah, he has a ton of apes, and he's always collecting your work. I'm always seeing like either you're tweeting out or he's tweeting out, like, it just won this auction. And it's like, of your pieces. So that's super cool, to have like a regular collector, I guess, of your work.
Yeah. I feel super lucky. Like, I feel like he put me on in a way, and I'm just like super, super grateful for him, for sure.
Yeah. And that was interesting too, how you said, you priced your calligraphy based on all this experience you had, because you had been, a calligrapher. And it's like, I mean, I obviously know how awesome it looks, and everyone sees how cool it looks when you write like the words and the calligraphy, but it's like, well, how much time did that take to learn and get to that skill level? Because you make it look so natural. And it's like, obviously I couldn't do that. And, 99.9%.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Yeah. It's like, but it's like, and even getting it right on the first try, or even like, well, maybe it took multiple takes, and it's like, that's a lot of pressure to also kind of get it right. Cause you were minting like these like videos of you writing, whatever it is that it was. Maybe it was a message, maybe it was a word, and then you were minting it, and then you were selling it as art. Yeah. As these one-of-ones.
I mean, calligraphy is a lot like ballet or like playing an instrument. You have to show up and practice every day, and you have to do those drills that nobody wants to do. I feel like drawing might be the same way, like warming up your hand and stuff like this, and sketching. But calligraphy is kind of rigorous. Like you have to like practice all of the like warm-up drills, like ovals and infinity loops, and like sit up straight, your shoulders in your back, and you're using whole arm movement, and like it's a whole thing. And people practice for like 30 minutes to an hour a day, like master pinmen, maybe more. And I've been doing it since 2014. I've been taking it more seriously though, in terms of studying like traditional calligraphy since 2016. So yeah, also like developing your eye is part of that as well. So like one of my favorite quotes from a master pinman, his name is Louis Mataraz. He says, study as much as you practice, know what you want to execute. So like, I feel like there's equal parts of like pen to paper as there is like eyeballs to text, like just knowing what you're looking at, So there was a lot in there of study. So
wow, that's amazing. And then you kind of pivoted, after the calligraphy, and you're like, because I remember on the Ladies Night Twitch stream, you're like, I'm kind of done with the calligraphy, or at least you were temporarily kind of done with doing that calligraphy NFTs, and you decided to kind of pivot in a different direction. What can you tell us about like what that process was of kind of deciding that like you didn't want to go down the route that you were already going and that you're already really good at, and now like, I mean, obviously, you're very artistic, so it's like there's a lot of different things you can do, but just kind of deciding to switch things up, and deciding that you no longer wanted to take this specific route of calligraphy, but to kind of expand into other NFT pieces.
So calligraphy kind of served a purpose in my life for a while, and that it helped me like channel my perfectionism in a healthy way. And so I would like sit down and do calligraphy, and that was like really good for me because it was like artistic, and I could also like be a perfectionist in this one thing. But then it kind of felt like in the past few years, like I've been wanting to step away from it and do something different, but just felt like I couldn't, because like there were just, calligraphy made more sense, like work-wise, like, you can always do weddings, you can always do on-site calligraphy if you live in a big city, you can always teach. So it's kind of like this service-based art that like, while I loved for a time, I felt like I really wanted to break out and try something different. Like portraits, like I've always wanted to like paint portraits. And I tried a little bit of that last summer. And yeah, it's kind of been like, thanks to the NFT space that I've had the privilege to be able to break out and try new art styles. And I also recognize that I've been like just extremely lucky to be able to mint those and have them sell those illustrations that I've done so far. But yeah, I'm having so much fun. Like Procreate is the best app on the planet. I'm sure you've heard that from other artists, but it's just so much fun. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy illustrating and drawing and painting. And actually, I haven't picked up my pen probably since November. I might go back to it. It certainly informs what I do now. With maybe like, I do these little illustrations of like bedrooms or nooks or kitchens and like little book titles. Like it informs like even though it's like kind of kid looking, it still informs how I write the titles of those books. My story Emporium collection inspired some of those too. So yeah, I've been really enjoying drawing.
Yeah, I love your art. I love the things you've been making. You said like those bedroom scenes, they're almost like little snapshots because you have so many Easter eggs of like what's happening in the moment, the keywords people are using, the projects that are going on. It's really, really cool, the stuff you do. Somehow, I told Jennifer this before, somehow we became friends on Facebook. So we I see your art come across on Facebook. Did you even know that or no?
Wait, I think I did.
You look surprised. You look surprised. So I don't know how we did, but like we are somehow.
Yeah, we are.
It's kind of archaic.
Yeah. I think I kind of wanted to break out, and I was just sitting in my parents' living room and I started drawing their living room. And then I was like, because it was like that piece is non-fungible afternoon. And it was kind of like wanting to draw what I felt like we were all experiencing in this weird third space of like social audio, whatever. And so, so I wanted to like I put Franklin Zape in that one because he let me, my cool cat at the time, no longer a holder, sad face.
Don't get Jennifer started. Every time I suggest selling, I get yelled at. Because all three of us have cool cats on the podcast here.
I'm like, don't break up our
loyalty. I know, you can't sell it. I'm like, all right. It almost sold a month or two ago, and then I had to pull it down out of shame.
Even though you would have, even though it's like less now, and you could have like bought back.
I know. Yeah, thank you.
Don't take my advice.
Yeah. And Andy says here, Sarah, he's a big fan of the Cozy Nook paintings. I don't know if you saw that pop up. Our producer Andy. Yeah.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I liked it too.
Didn't you? When you said you do the auctions, wasn't there one recently, maybe a month or two ago, that went for like a really high amount? I'm trying to remember. I think I saw
that one was so right after NFT NYC, I was actually sitting with John Knopf at lunch, and he was like, Sarah, like, let me show Jamie, his wife, your illustration. So I showed her my bedroom illustrate, like the non-fungible night is what I ended up calling it, but the one in the bedroom, like the Oni on the wall, and like John was like, he was like, you should mint those. You should put them up for sale. So like, okay, so I get home from NFT NYC and I minted one on Foundation, and immediately like there were bids on it. And it finally sold to Franklin for 5 ETH.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And that was absolutely insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's cool. Franklin. That's awesome. I didn't realize he was your collector like that. Your main collector.
Yeah. Cool. I did a snapshot of like not a snapshot. I went through all of my collections and I copy pasted all of the addresses for an airdrop. And I'm like, oh, Franklin.
He's your biggest fan. He's your biggest fan.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Super lucky. Yeah, that was an interesting experience learning how to airdrop something. And OpenSea now tells you when it's an airdrop, which is amazing. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, I have seen that. When you look in your activity, it says it was an airdrop for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
What is the benefit of, because I know you're on Foundation, you're on OpenSea. What's the benefit of artists minting, their NFTs and kind of maybe putting them up on an auction on OpenSea or on Foundation versus, maybe just listing them on OpenSea? Like, what are the differences between like Foundation and OpenSea, and what have you found that you like better as an artist?
I've kind of been learning as I go. So OpenSea was good for me for like kind of having a separate place to keep my calligraphy videos. But then foundation was like at first I was just separating them out based on the content. So I was like, okay, OpenSea calligraphy videos, foundation, one of ones, and mostly illustrations. There's calligraphy videos on there too. But yeah, it was mostly just separating them out and kind of trying to figure out which was best. OpenSea is going to be the best fee wise, right? Because they only take 2.5%. Foundation was not the best fee wise for a while because they took 15%, but now they're down to 5%.
So that's crazy.
Yes.
We're down to 5. Well, that's nice.
I know. And they also kind of give you your own version of like a cookie cutter smart contract, which is nice. And I know I heard today that they're integrating with Manifold soon. So you'll be able to have your own Manifold contract, but the storefront is Foundation, which I think is probably the direction I'll go in, just because you have a little bit more control. You're not, beholden to a platform. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've tried them all. Like I tried Origin Story, which is Origin Protocol's storefront, and that was interesting. It was definitely a learning curve, but I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I took that step before I did something like Manifold. Yeah, that was how people minted us. The Story Emporium collection was through Origin Protocol's storefront.
Cool.
Nice.
You're very nice. You said that was interesting. Doesn't sound like the most positive ever. The most positive review.
No, I think there were a few hiccups on my end, just because I didn't know that I had to go set up the OpenSea page, and all of that. And so I was like scrambling to set that up, but I should have known better. I should have read the rules closer and had that set up.
Cool. Very nice.
I was just writing down a question here. I was curious about, there's a lot of people looking to get into the NFT space. Maybe they want to be an artist, maybe they want to launch their own collection. And we've had some projects on here talking. I think it's awesome to be able to talk to an artist that, does one of ones. And it's like, you're not coming out with a whole 10K collection, and, it's a little bit different. And I think the collections, they're a lot easier for people to sell because it's like, oh, they're a little more liquid and everything. And I'm just curious, how do you get people to notice your NFTs? A lot of people are trying to get into the space, being NFT artists. For people that are already, maybe they're artists in real life and they want to start minting their work, similar to you, what advice would you give them for, how do they build an audience? How do they get people to know about their NFTs that they're minting? And, how do they get people to buy their stuff? Like what advice would you give to those people?
I would first say join Twitter. Cut Instagram out of your life for the most part, and unless it's just like posting your work there, and just get on Twitter and start interacting with artists that you like in the space. Compliment their work, ask them how they did what they did, be interested, make friends, and like retweet their work as well. Something that I found in the NFT space is like there's less of a focus on like, how many followers you have or how many likes you have or whatever, and just like more focus on like lifting up all artists. At least that's what I've found. And so I think just like starting to make a core group of friends in the space, especially artist friends who will help support you too, and sit and listen to spaces. I would say listen to Twitter spaces for like a month or something. And then like, and like hop on stage and ask questions, but like don't immediately show your work, because I feel like the community is not going to vibe with that. I feel like people really just like want to be your friend first, like know who you are, especially in the space. Cause we're like, this year has been hard. Like, I feel like we've been burned, like there've been a lot of rug pulls, and like we want to know like who you are, what you stand for, what your art is about. So spend a lot of time on Twitter, basically.
That's great advice. When you say something not to gloss over is like, when you get in those spaces, don't show up on stage and show your work. Be yourself, be friendly, compliment other people. They'll go see your links. If they like you, they'll go see your links and they'll find your work. Just be yourself is way more valuable. Every now and then, if somebody's asking what you have going on, you can talk about it, but it's just get in there and make friends. You are 1,000% right if you're trying to get in the space. Just hang out, whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a coder, if you're trying to be a Discord community manager, it's all the same advice. Get in there and make friends.
Yeah. And collect too.
Yeah, right.
Like
collect from other people, support. Even if you can't afford to collect is great, but support, like you said, retweet, tell other people this artist is awesome. Like that. Yeah, for sure. And also collect. Absolutely. Yeah. Great advice. That's great advice.
Yeah, I thought that was a good golden nugget where you said there's two things that I thought was great. First of all, what Michael touched on, which is like making friends in the space, getting people to kind of trust you, and people will buy from people that they know. And, you don't have to be the best. You just people have to just like you, just getting to know people and networking, and, people want to support other people. And then also you said like, be interested as well. And it's like, it reminds me of that quote where it's like more important to be interested versus interesting. And I think that's so, important and kind of overlooked as well, like being interested in what other people are doing and also asking questions, because people are always kind of willing to help. Like, if you message an artist and say, I really admire your work, love what you've been doing, I'm trying to start my own collection, I just had a question for you. Everyone's always trying to like show their thing, like buy this, or can you shout me out, or can you do these things for me? But I feel like people don't ask enough questions. Like, how about asking for advice, or how about asking, what's their area of expertise, and what can I learn from this person even? And I think people are much more willing to share their information and their knowledge, and they're a little more willing to be open to that versus like, oh, buy my art, or like just kind of feeling like you're like shilling versus like you're genuinely curious,
Yeah, totally. That's like actually some old Gary Vee advice too, is commenting on tweets. I don't know if you guys remember.
At least you were the first person to mention him this episode. That's good. Normally I'm the one that
good.
Yeah, everyone.
But he says that like when I was trying to promote my calligraphy classes, I would go to Twitter, search the word calligraphy, and then if people had questions, I would be like, hey, I do this, and then I would like help them out, so it's like yeah, like if you're
that is Gary Vee advice. Yeah. He said he used to reply to any single comment about wine, like anywhere on Twitter, he'd be replying to. Yeah, that is good advice. That's really good advice too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that side note that Jennifer is hosting a bunch of panels at VCon?
Oh,
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Not surprised. No. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
The more speakers come out, the more I'm like, oh, I should maybe try to pick up one of those VCon NFTs on OpenSea, because
they're like 2 ETH or something, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 ETH. Yeah.
What the heck? I didn't know they were gonna be going for that much. It's kind of crazy, but I guess people don't want to let go of their ticket, right? That's what that means, really.
Yeah, I mean, there's it's basically a $6,000 conference at this point. And there's going to be art to it that'll stay. They're not going to burn the NFT or anything. You're actually going to get a piece of art. And his quote is, OG crypto people are going to be very happy, is what he says about the art. So we don't know who it is yet, but it's going to be something.
OG crypto people? That's interesting.
I know, right. That's what the ticket art's going to be. And he also just tweeted earlier today, he added 2 more monster names for VCon to be announced soon. A sneak peek. I am one of those, the 2 monster names.
I'm over here like monster. Mike was out.
Monster names? Like, what do you mean monster names?
No, like 2 big names.
Super famous people. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that one.
And speaking of events, actually, Sarah, we met for the first time in person in New York. Was it November, NFT NYC? And I was just like walking on the street with my sister and I don't know, maybe some other people I kind of forget, but I remember you were like sitting eating pizza. Yeah. And then you just like get up and you're like, I don't know, you like said something. And then I was like, oh my God, SarahScript. Like, and then, that was so funny. And then we met again on the street, like in Austin, Texas during South by Southwest. Yeah. I was with my boyfriend walking. He tasked me, he's like, is that SarahScript? And I was like, and then you were like walking fast. I was like, oh my God, I have to yell it out. I was like, Sarah. Like, I was like, Sarah. And then you turned around and then I was like, hey. But that was just funny. Networking, super important. Meeting people in person is super cool. Like 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, it's the best, especially because we've been spending so much time together on social audio apps. Yeah. Like it's so crazy. It's so crazy too to see at the South by Southwest event, there was an ATX DAO party, and it was like this huge room filled with all these people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's crazy to see this amount of people in a room. Cause like, that's like the same amount of people that are, probably in like the nifty morning alpha, rooms and like all that stuff. It's so nuts. I should know that people aren't cartoon characters, but
no, it is weird to think about. And then, it's like a normal looking person. Like, I don't know. I always expect people to look like super nerdy and awkward and weird. And then it's like people looking all good and everything. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I thought everyone's supposed to be like nerdy, like people like in their mom's basement. Like, what is the situation? Like, everyone looked just like a normal human. Oh, okay. Yeah. Normal people just collect NFTs too.
It's funny.
Has anybody like come up to you and recognize you? Like, hey, you're SarahScript. I follow you on Twitter.
No.
Well, you're also not very like, you don't really post yourself like often. I know you posted singing videos. Like that's where I saw you for the first time. I think you had these like, you made these like, and you're really good at singing, by the way. Like Sarah's like really good at singing, of course. And it was like, you made like a whole poem, like about like NFTs or something. And you like sang it. It was like, it was really good. Do you know what I'm talking about? Was it the Little Mermaid theme song one or something?
Yeah, the Little Mermaid was the first one I did.
Okay.
And then like I've done several others, but I get really nervous and I delete them. So I was actually writing one before before this call tonight. I know. I'm so cringe.
Alpha leak. She's gonna be tweeting out another one of.
Is it a song from Encanto?
No, I still need to see Encanto.
I've seen it like 20 times.
I'm so behind.
Because of my kids. Yeah. We don't talk about Bruno,
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what that means because you haven't seen it.
I know.
Same. I'm like, what? I don't even know what Encanto
You don't know.
is.
We don't talk about. No, you guys. This is bad. I'll stop singing.
No, you're good. Stop embarrassing yourself, Michael.
Yeah, I know. Really. Andy, do your thing.
Andy, cut that part out. No, keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it. Anybody that's seen Encanto will laugh. That movie is we've seen it in our house with the little kids like 25 times, and there's some catchy songs in there. That's enough.
I'm excited to check it out. I love Disney and
it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
So yeah.
I usually like to ask what other projects and artists are you into? What are some of your favorite projects and things that are out there? What do you collect?
Ooh. As far as collectibles, I love the Crypto Coven project. I think they're very pretty. I minted 3 and then kind of flipped some. Now I have 2, but I want a 3rd. Just because I like them. I think it's an all-woman team, but they're not doxed. Well, maybe they're pseudo-anonymous. I don't know. But yeah, I like how they did their drop. They like spread it out over 2 weeks, which like would usually not be great.
Right.
But they sold out. And they're like, floor steadily climbed. I like the art a lot. I mean, I was part of it, so I guess I'm biased, but I really liked the relief drop that Andrew Wang and Satvik put on.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I got to collect an artist that I like, Dila. I'm not sure what her last name is, but she creates these really colorful collage type illustrations, and I got to collect one of her pieces. And then it went to a good cause, so it's like awesome. So yeah, so many great artists in that drop.
Yeah, there were. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I saw that you tweeted that you've held on to your World of Woman since mint, which I doubt there's many people that have held on. I mean, I minted we were just talking about this. I minted my World of Woman, and I sold it immediately for 0.1. Obviously regret it. But anyway, you held on this whole time. I mean, why? Why have you held? I'm always so curious when people hold on to like super valuable assets since mint. Like, why have you been holding on to this the whole time. And, what did you see in the very beginning that you just decided to have this conviction, to hold on to it?
Yeah, well, it was the first, I think it came out the same day that Long Necky Ladies came out. And so it was the first all woman project with a woman artist. I think Fame Ladies was before that, but there was a little bit of, and I'm sure somebody's going to fact check me, but I believe that, World of Women was kind of one of those first notable, I'll say, or that I noticed.
I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah. Of like a woman focused project that I was like, oh, like I vibe with this. Like that can be my PFP. Like I didn't really vibe with the Bored Apes. Big mistake. Wish I had just vibed.
All right.
So, yeah, it was like late at night. I had been waiting for that to mint. And then I saw the announcement on their Twitter and I minted and I was like, cool. And it didn't like fly up to the floor it is now. It was like, wasn't it like, it was like 1 point something in December, I think.
Yeah.
Or like maybe,
chilling.
yeah, maybe 2. And then January, just like on a rocket ship to the moon.
It took a little while to sell out, didn't it? Even if I'm recalling correctly.
World of Women?
Yeah. Did it take a little bit? Okay. I think it took a little bit. I want to say it was same day,
but maybe it was, yeah, I don't know. I want to say it was same day, although I don't know 100%. I guess we could.
No, yeah, that project has been amazing. And they also have Guy Osiri, the marketing guy, who's like Madonna's marketing manager, also works with Yuga Labs and Bored Apes. He works with them as well. And a lot of people are saying that's part of the reason why it's doing so well. But like that's a great project. That's going to be one that's going to be around for a long time. And it's a whole thing, And they have that Gary V X Factor because he's behind it. He helps, he talks about it. So that always helps. Yeah.
And then because I saw the tweet, it was like, oh, I minted it, held on since July. And then you also ended up landing a rare WoW Galaxy because they came out with the World of Women Galaxy.
Oh, cool.
And you got like a super rare one. Did it end up selling or not yet?
It hasn't sold yet. So if you're listening.
Okay. Nice. Wait, WoW G number 6515. Go check it out, folks.
What do you have it priced at?
It's priced at 19.69 right now.
Yep.
Nice.
Which I think might be high for like just the week after it came out, but I feel like, I don't know.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
And you have some good, we thought like already like 5.33, already people like offering, they're like, ooh, this is.
Yeah. Put it high. You never know. You might get an offer for like 15 or 16 or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe some more outright buy it. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. For sure. Somebody very well might go ahead and buy it, folks.
That's the cool thing about like listing things, even if you just do it for some, like, even if you're like 420 ETH and you're like, well, it won't sell at this, but it has exposure and now people can see it, because it's like, unless you're looking through everything in the collection or specific traits, usually people, I think anyway, people are sorting by like buy now, and then you can just see all the listed stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, it kind of helps yours be visible. So at least people can like see it. And then, maybe they'll put offers on it or, whatever the situation is. But yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's really cool. How rare is it? Do you know how rare it is? What's the?
So I think it's somewhere between 150 and 200.
Cool. That's great.
In there.
That's great. Yeah. That's really good, especially because there's 20,000, not just 10,000.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And then also I had bookmarked this tweet where you had replied and you said that you got your first job when you were 15 years old and you were working at a local bookstore.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is so crazy. That's like crazy young, like 15.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't legal, I don't think. I was definitely paid under the table.
They just like give you cash every time you work.
Yeah, I think I made like $5 an hour under the table, like, alphabetizing books and vacuuming and stuff. Yeah. I worked there for quite a while, like until college, and then I volunteered for a film festival all throughout college.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's how you got really good at singing. Like you're like doing musicals and stuff.
Yeah, I did do musicals in high school and after college. Like I did like community theater.
Nice.
And I would still be doing it now, but for the pandemic, I auditioned for a sketch comedy group and we haven't performed in the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but I got in right before March of 2020. So it's like, oh man, that would have been so fun.
we need videos of that.
Oh my gosh.
We need videos.
Yes. Please mint these videos on.
Yeah. You should.
Seriously, you could do everything about that. Like, it's like you could mint
you can mint sketch comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like your singing skits. Like, do you ever think about minting your singing? Like, when you had posted that, like the Little Mermaid, like, but you made like a whole NFT rendition, you could have minted that and like auctioned it off.
But wouldn't I have been sued by Disney? That's my worry.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I have no idea, honestly. Like, I have no idea how that works, but
yeah, I don't know either.
They hold on pretty tight to their IP, I feel.
They do. Yeah. You can perform it live, but I think there is a difference when you try and sell it. There might be. Somebody would have to. And there's parody. There's parody laws also, though.
Yeah,
I think true. Because like Weird Al does all those songs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Weird Al. Yeah. Oh my God, I used to be obsessed with Weird Al when I was like,
just call yourself Weird Sarah and start putting out. Start putting out songs like that.
Oh, man.
I like it.
I don't know that I could deal with them being minted, though. Do you know what I mean? That's like etched in
forever. Yeah,
forever.
It's forever. It's forever. Yeah.
Oh my God. Somebody minted my tweet that I had tweeted about a year ago saying like
that was hilarious.
It was like this tweet about the Bored Apes, and people still remember this too, and they'll bring it up. And I was like, quick to rise, quick to fall. Like, and I didn't even touch it. All I said was that, which is not even that bad. But anyway,
but there was like a picture of an ape with its hands over his face or whatever.
Yeah, and I was clearly talking about the apes, because they had risen so quick, and it was like all of a sudden it was like 0.2 or something crazy, or so I thought, right? And I was like, oh, this is going down, like, and then anyway, somebody screenshotted that tweet like just yesterday, and they minted it and they sent it to my wallet, and they labeled it epic bag fumbles. And I was like, bro, like, why do you have to like remind me? Like, yeah, it's okay. I fumbled the bag. I could have not been a hater. But yeah, I definitely thought, Sarah, you're like, I wish I would have vibed with them. Like when they first came out, I was like, oh, these ugly things. Like, I don't like these apes at all. None of them look good to me, but it's just like, obviously it's not always about the art. I think with collections, it's not always about the art, but then it's like, obviously for like, if you really want things to be about the art, you go to the one of one, art pieces and everything. And I think the people that are more into art, I don't think they're as much into collections. I think they're more into like buying from, one of one artists and, like yourself and just things that are more special, because it's just like, yeah, collections are just, I don't know, crazy combinations of stuff.
And it's harder and harder to like know what's good these days, because it's just like so
really
much
hard
stuff.
Yeah. Have you been approached by anybody to do like a large collection?
Summer, actually, I spoke about this on Stephanie's show. I did all of the art for a 10K collection, all the assets and everything, and it never came out, which I'm okay with, because I think like it was a good learning experience. I did get paid for the work that I did. Yeah. But yeah, the devs were just really busy on other projects, and they had this idea for this project. And yeah. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of projects people start and they never end up coming out, for sure. It's good experience. It's good experience,
Yeah, I spent all of August, I think, at my desk.
Oh wow,
working on that project.
Damn.
Yeah, but good experience for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of back like sometime last year. I remember this guy that I had gone on like one date with or something, like reached out like years later, by the way. This was like years ago. I went on a date with him, and he reached out and he was like, hey, he like texted me. He's like, hey, I'm coming out with my own project. I was like, bro, what? Like, I don't even I don't even have your number saved. Like, what?
Yeah. Who this?
Anyway, yeah. And then, but he was like, oh, it's going to be launching in January. I'll send it to you when it comes out, like if you want to see it. I was like, okay, sure. Like, let me see the project. Never texted me again. So I guess that fell through. Right. I guess that did it. Then he was like, I was like, so do you collect a bunch of NFTs? He's like, nope, I have no NFTs. I was like, you don't even have NFTs and you're trying to launch your own project. Like, tell me how this makes sense.
Red flag alert.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
if he ever comes out with it, you should send him a burn address. He's like, send it here.
yeah. Can you send me? Oh yeah. Here. Send all your stuff to this.
Yep. If you just heard about NFTs in 2022, you're not ready to drop a project yet. Let's just say that. I've seen a lot of people because it's so tempting. You see everybody doing it and they're selling out. But you need to realize a project is forever. A project is going to last a long, long time. And there's people who are going to want to know what you're doing constantly. Thousands of people.
Yeah. And I think taking time to build yourself up, get people to know you, like Sarah was saying, get involved in the community, just learn, really just immerse yourself before you try to start doing things. People reach out all the time. They're like, oh, starting a project. And then I'll click on them and I'll look at their Twitter. And it's like, they have like 5 followers. And it's like, you have 5 followers. Like you need to kind of get your Twitter up. You need to get people to know you. Like you can't just launch. You can, but it's like, what are you going to do? Just cold reach out to a bunch of people that don't even know who you are. Like, try to become a little known, get some people to know you. I don't know. I think, yeah.
And you can't also, another mistake I've seen is we're trying to hire paid influencers for our project. That's not going to work like in this space. I mean, it might work.
Not anymore. It used to work. It's not good.
No, it's not, not how we do it.
Yeah. The people that do the paid advertisements, it's like people kind of know, oh, that's like a paid advertisement. I don't think people really take paid advertisements too seriously. Like when an influencer does it, unless they make it seem super organic and incognito, not to throw anyone under the bus, but I do remember when Cole Ethereum, which I like Cole Ethereum, but anyway, he had done like a thing with Fame Ladies. And he was like, oh, I'm making this project amazing. Like, and he actually got me into Fame Ladies. It wasn't even on my radar. But it was actually, they were paying him to tweet about it, but he made it seem so organic, which is like, obviously like illegal. Like you're not supposed to do that. Like you're supposed to, if you're being paid, like you have to disclose, you have to put, hashtag ad, like you need people to know that it's an ad. But it was like, he made it seem so organic that it was like, it just seemed like he was just, talking about a project that he liked, and maybe there's a lot of, and I'm like, I'm curious to know if there's any, I'm sure there are people that do that now where it's like, they're just tweeting about a project they like and you think it's genuine, but, they're getting paid under the table or, I don't know. It's like, cause I think people, when they see that hashtag ad, it's like, they just, they're automatically in their brain like, oh, it's an ad, like kind of turn it off. You're like, you tune it out, keep scrolling.
Yeah, can be treacherous waters out there.
It really is. You got to look for we've said a lot over the last couple months, look who's on the team, bet the jockey, if they're an influencer in the space, those are the projects that tend to do well rather than, unknown people. Absolutely. You're really risky. Not that some of them can't take off, Fluff World, the people were unknown and they're doing really well. But like for the most part, a lot of these projects, MFers by Sartoshi, Rug Radio, is going to do well, like that kind of thing. People that are in the space, they've been putting out really good projects. Congratulations. We should say, Jennifer, Crypto Storm and is it Sarah Stargirl both sold their projects out in one day. They both did really well. Yeah.
That was very exciting.
Those are the kind of people that it's good to bet with for sure.
Well, yeah, building up, and it's like, building up a reputation. That's what we're talking about. Like, building up a reputation before you launch a project, and then getting people to kind of trust you in this space. Actually, this person, they reached out to me and they were like, "Oh, I'm making this project." It was actually a really cool idea. It was like, so basically you connect your wallet, which was this like kind of like suspicious part. But anyway, you connect your wallet and you can draw, anyone who connects their wallet can draw on every single day. There's a new, like, NFT that they're going to mint. At the end of the day, they mint the piece, and everybody who connects their wallet can just draw on it. And then at the end of the day, they mint the piece and it goes to a random person who drew on it, which I thought was such a cool concept. And I was like, wow, this is actually really dope. But the problem was, it was like they only had like 20 followers, and I was kind of like, I'm suspicious to connect. I don't want to connect my wallet because I'm like, what if I get scammed? This could be a scam. But I thought the idea was really dope. And then I just kind of felt bad because I was like, dang, like, it's like they're probably just like a genuine, person doing this. And it's, probably legit. Maybe it's not. But, it's like I'm all
have to be skeptical
about it. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't know them. Nobody that I know follows them. And it's like, yeah, it is a little rough, like getting started initially when nobody kind of like knows and trusts you. But yeah, if you can build yourself up a little bit before you start doing stuff, that's the ideal, I think. But anyway, it's been like an hour, and I want to be respectful of your time, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, do you have any last minute questions for Sarah before we wrap this up?
No, I think I'm pretty good because normally my last minute question is what projects are you into and what other artists do you like and stuff. So that's usually my last minute one for our guests. So I'm good. It was a real pleasure having you, Sarah.
So nice to be here.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes. And let me see. What should we plug here? Let me see. foundation.app/SarahScript if you want to check out some of her pieces that she drops in there. Also, Story Emporium on OpenSea. You have several collections. I'm like, what do I plug exactly? The calligraphy. What is the calligraphy one?
It's called Calligraphy Love.
Okay, yes, Calligraphy Love. We'll have Andy post all of these in the show notes. You guys should definitely check it out. Like, at least check out the calligraphy one because she does such an amazing job with those, and those are super dope. And there's only like 2 on sale, and one's like 40 ETH or something, like crazy. Wow. People are like, nope, I'm holding on to mine.
Thank you so much, and definitely check out the Relief collection too, because pretty much all of secondary sales are going to charity except for the Ukrainian and Russian artists that were involved in the drop. So yeah, and those are like pretty affordable for most DJs. So
and you were a part of that. You contributed to that.
Yes, I did a illustration of a dove looking out a window.
What's the easiest way for people to find that collection?
Relief. It's RELI, and then the E is the number 3.
A 3, right? Okay. Right on OpenSea.
On OpenSea, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on the show. Seriously, it's been a pleasure. We've talked about you like several times, and we're like, we really got to get Sarah on. We keep talking about her. So I'm like, I got to reach out to Sarah. We got to schedule something here. But anyway, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on, and shout out to everybody listening to this. Hopefully you all enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.